And welcome back to online English class. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm not going to be lecturing through any information for you. It's going to be a very short video. I just want to assign you some work basically and allow you to do some independent analysis on your OTN2 during the time that you would typically allot to listening to a lecture on this video. Okay, so let's just talk quickly about what you need to keep in mind for the top of the week announcements. You need to make sure that you're listening carefully to these. Okay, that'll help with any questions that you have or any confusion that you have. Okay, so obviously you should have already sent me your email check or email confirmation of your reading for Chapter 4. You should have completed your Unit 6 progress check. Those for you AP students need to be around 750 to 800 word analytical essays that you write in one sitting in around 40 minutes. That's practice for your exam. Make sure that you are doing that exactly as I described right then. 750 to 800 words, one sitting in 40 to 45 minutes. If you are not doing that, okay, if you're not following that instruction, that is a directive. If you're not following that instruction, then you're shorthanding, you're shortchanging your preparation for that exam, okay, which is coming up on May 20th. All right. And we'll be studying for that and preparing for that and reviewing for that extensively as soon as we are done with Unit 6. All right. Okay, so you should have already completed OTN 1 and submitted your outline by Wednesday. That outline, okay, should have looked something close to this, okay, an outline of your line of reasoning with a central claim, your supporting claims, your summary of evidence. All of this is available on the document, all right, OTN 1, which had your packet of analytical prompts for the American Jeremiad, okay? Aside from all this, you need to make sure that you are continuing to draft your Quarter 4 essay. And today, you need to be working through the first 3 sources of OTN2, all right? So let's look quickly at those first 3 sources and remind ourselves about what exactly you need to be looking for, okay? So yesterday, obviously, we analyzed this prompt. I'm not going to go back through it word for word, but basically, you're developing a claim of policy that either supports or opposes the construction of the Cordoba House. This was a very contentious hot-button issue in 2009 and 2010. Obviously, it is sort of diminished in importance, but it's representative of a very important American ideal that is sort of near and dear to the heart of the American spirit or the American promise. Okay, so we're going to think about it, and we're going to try and develop a reasonable evidence-based stance on this issue. Okay, the first 3 documents are obviously not written in 2009 or 2010, not even close. Okay, they were written by James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington in the early American historical context, right? So these 3 individuals are individuals that we would typically call our founding fathers or associate with the men who sort of helped establish and articulate the basic structure, the basic system by which the American government and American society is structured, okay? So these 3 sources, I just want you to consider quickly with me how they relate to the prompt, right? These 3 sources are going to offer a kind of ideological context or background. So how can they be used to support your argument? Well, obviously, if you oppose the construction of the Cordoba House, you can take some of the ideas about religious freedom and religious tolerance, all right, and you'd have to apply them to this situation, acknowledging that religious tolerance and religious freedom are obviously important American values. Those are articulated here, here, and here. Okay, that there's no arguing that religious tolerance is an important American ideal or basic right. But you could, if you oppose the construction and you're trying to develop an evidence-based, reasonable stance that is in opposition to the Cordoba House's construction, you could use some of their arguments, some of these premises, and apply them to this situation and explain how these guys also would agree that this is a bad idea, that this is not what they meant when they were talking about religious freedom, okay? Obviously, if you support the construction of the Cordoba house, then you would likewise need to explain how what these guys are talking about, right? The premises, the values that they are establishing in these foundational documents, right? That help orient and offer structure to and flesh out an American's understanding of what it means to be religiously tolerant, how these documents support and apply to this specific scenario. Okay. In either case, basically what you're doing here is you're using these old ideas and applying them to a present problem. Okay. So obviously, in order to be able to do that effectively, you're going to need to go through, understand sort of when they're talking, very basically. Don't spend a lot of time on your rhetorical situation analysis. All right. Then you're going to want to say, understand just basically what they've said and what their line of reasoning is. Okay. And then this is kind of where the money is made. You're going to want to explain and consider how the source connects to the main idea of the prompt. All right. So for all the time that you would typically allocate for doing your English work today, I would like for you to spend it now working on those first three sources. And those first three sources need to be completed by the end of today. All right. So Madison, Jefferson, and Washington, you need to analyze and work with those sources today. Tomorrow, obviously, we'll be looking at the more contemporary sources. And then at the beginning of next week, we'll be sort of completing this OTN, laying out an outline and thinking about some possible responses. Okay, hope you guys had or have an excellent day, and make sure that you are spending some time with these sources today. All right, take it easy.